I was planning to do a video on a neighborhood this week, but there was some news that came out on Monday from the Consumer Protection Agency that I thought was really important to get out to my viewers. So the first thing I want to say is no foreclosures are happening in 2021. So stay tuned to find out why. Hey, this is Jen Dentry. I talk about everything there is to know about living and having a good time in Denver, and also some important real estate topics that you may need to know about, especially in this crazy market. If you get a chance, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We get lots of people that are moving to the Denver metro area that contact me, so make sure you reach out to me any way you can. I'm always happy to help. Okay, let's get started talking about this whole forbearance thing for 2021. So the Consumer Protection Agency came out on Monday with a proposal, which is something called Regulation X. Now there are over 150 pages that go into detail on this, but I want to give you a quick summary of 5 key points that you need to remember and know about this and what this means for the market and also for anybody that is in forbearance. So the Consumer Protection Agency was worried that there was going to be a flood of foreclosures that would happen when a forbearance came due here coming in September and the October deadline. So to avoid any foreclosures happening in that time frame, they're proposing changing Regulation X. This rule would prevent mortgage servicers from going after mortgage borrowers that are delinquent until after December 31st of 2021. So this proposal was put out for review, and I guess feedback is requested back by May 10th. 2021. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm guessing it means that the mortgage community would have to get back to them on input onto this proposal and how it might work or any changes to it. Okay, so let's go over the few things that I want you to know about this 150-page document and some of the articles I read. And the number one thing I want you to know is that this applies to all loan types. If you have any kind of loan, some of the CARES Act stuff might have called the loan due right away. If it was a private loan, i.e. a conventional loan. So this applies to VA, FHA, USDA, and also conventional loans. So all kinds of loans. Okay, the number 2 thing I want you to know, which is kind of the basis of this whole proposal, and is what pulls this out to December 31st of 2021, is that there would be this pre-foreclosure, this temporary pre-foreclosure review period, which would give people and mortgagors maybe more time to catch up on loans if they're behind on them. So if people maybe have gotten back on their feet, maybe they might have a lower paying job, but maybe they can be modified for a loan that they can still afford, this will give them that chance to avoid foreclosure. And it also pushes that until 2021. So there are no foreclosures. If this proposal goes through, there are no foreclosures happening in 2021. Now, just to be clear, people don't go into foreclosure anyway, regardless of this proposal, unless they're 121 days late on any of their payments. So this, even if somebody is not in foreclosure and say they're 121 days in past their payment or delinquent, this would still affect them, because if their 122 days comes due in 2021, it won't matter for them either, because this this affects anybody in 2021, so no foreclosures in 2021. The number 3 item I want you to know is that this requires a lot less paperwork. I don't know the grave details about it, but I do know that in 2008, when a lot of people had foreclosure stuff, they would get stuff sent in the mail, and there was tons of paperwork, and they didn't know how to apply, and that kind of thing, and that could have increased some of those foreclosures that happened in 2008. So with less paperwork, less admin stuff to do, there's some restrictions that have been taken off of mortgage lenders about what they need to collect in order to modify loans. Item number 4 that I want you to know about, which kind of goes along with this last paperwork, is a live contact. So servicers are going to be required to make a live contact with the borrower, and that has to happen 36 days after they are delinquent on their payments, and then again every 36 days past the payment that is due, and that is an ongoing thing for those payments that are due. So this also applies to both people that are in forbearance and not in forbearance, and there are different rules based on who is in forbearance and isn't in forbearance and what they offer. But they do have to go over when your forbearance is coming due and work with you on modifying any kind of programs there might be. Number 5 thing you need to know is that this expands coverage. So instead of just being directly impacted by COVID, this says that you can be directly or indirectly impacted by COVID. So, and it would apply to you. So to me, that means pretty much anybody. But that's how I'm reading into the lines anyway. So one last thing I want to leave you with is that if you are in forbearance or you're delinquent on your mortgage, you want to make sure that you are checking and answering your phone and checking your mail, because they may be trying to contact you with this live contact, and you make sure you want to work things out so that you don't go past this deadline. So once we get into 2022, who knows what's going to happen, but I can't imagine this is going to go on forever, and eventually foreclosures will happen to anybody that is delinquent, and this is a temporary proposal. So I would urge you to take advantage of it if that's your situation. For those of you that are interested in the market and what's going on, I think this is kind of a tall tale sign to tell you that there are not going to be any foreclosures in 2021. I think I talked about that in another video, how I didn't think that there were going to be any anyway in 2021, because in the time it takes to actually foreclose after that 120 days would put us into 2022 anyway. So if you were looking for relief from maybe finding people that were having delinquency and providing more inventory, I don't know that that's going to happen based on some of these new policies that might be put into place. You know, this whole thing affects what happens with the market, so we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the real estate market based on these policies and procedures that are changing in Washington, and this Rule X that is changing and how it's affecting our market.